Elegant family, welcome again to another episode of the Winnie School of Elegance series. Today we're going to be talking about the elegant woman that commutes with public transportation. Is it possible to stay elegant while on an Okada, in a downfall, a tricycle, or whatever other kind of public transportation that exists? My answer is absolutely yes, and I'm about to give you all the tips that you need to stay elegant even while commuting with public transportation. Only my Naija peeps would understand me when I say Okada, downfall, keke. But for those who are watching that are not Nigerians, downfall pretty much is the public buses that you use. Keke is the tricycle. I don't know what it's called in your country. And then Okada, of course, is motorcycle. When I say public transportation, I mean the kind of transportation where you would have to use the transportation facility with other people. So I'm talking from trains to buses to tricycles to motorcycles. It also includes ferries, pretty much any single thing that you know you'd have to share with someone else while commuting from a place to another place. And like I said already, it is definitely possible for you to stay absolutely elegant whilst commuting with public transportation. It looks like it's almost impossible, but no, it's not. And the tips I'm about to arm you with right now would help you through your public transportation journey. So stay with me on this one, guys, as we proceed. You would all agree with me that taking public transportation can be sometimes very chaotic, depending on the means of transportation, the people, or the time of day. Yes, it can be absolutely chaotic and can be very annoying, but sometimes it's the only option that some people have to commute from one place to another. So it makes it inevitable, or it makes it an inevitable choice for anyone who has to move from one place to another. But you definitely can still stay elegant whilst using public transportation. And the very first tip that I've put down here on my list on how you can stay elegant would be for you to get in the right mindset. We already understand that using public transportation can be very chaotic, especially because you have to deal with people, external people that you definitely cannot control. So get yourself in the right mindset. And by the right mindset, I mean, give yourself or get in that place in your mind where you are at this Zen mode, that regardless of the chaos around you, you still maintain your peace and you just get yourself ready for whatever you may meet on the road. So get into that right mindset and tell yourself that no matter what happens, I'm going to remain calm, I'm going to remain still, I'm going to remain relaxed, and nothing is going to disrupt the inner quiet or the flow of my inner self, regardless of what it is. Once you are able to tune into the calm and peace in your mind, trust me, you will zone out of whatever chaos may be happening around you when you choose to use public transportation. The second tip that I've put down here on my list will be for you to be very vigilant and security conscious. With the high rate of insecurity issues, you need to always ensure that when you find yourself in public, that you are well secure at all times, not just securing your valuables, but also securing yourself. There is a lot of news about kidnappings and all of those not so good things, and you always want to ensure that you are vigilant at all times so that you do not find yourself in a compromised situation where you have to literally either save yourself from something or cry out for help. So remain security conscious and remain very vigilant at all times, okay? The third tip that I've put down here on my list on how you can stay elegant even while commuting with public transportation will be for you never ever to rush when you are about to enter any form of public transportation. Sometimes I know that rushing is the only way that some people understand, especially when there is a scarcity in the supply of the transportation that you're about to use. But as an elegant person, you must never be caught rushing. You need to just always ensure that you take your time gracefully and elegantly to go into whatever transportation you have to go into. What rushing does for you is it will disrupt your inner peace and that calm that you're trying to preserve and protect. So as much as possible, try as much not to rush into any form of public transportation regardless of what's going on per time. To further buttress that point, I want you to always have an abundance mindset. Always believe that whatever it is that you seek would come to you at the time that it ought to come to you. And that includes the transportation that you need to get to the place that you need to get to. So do not rush. If the bus or the tricycle gets filled up before it's your turn, know that another one is going to come to you at the time when you need it. So do not rush as an elegant person, okay? The next point that I've put down here on my list would be for you not to get involved in arguments and fights, whether indirectly or directly. Trust me, when you find yourself in public around people, different types of people, you do not know their temperament, you do not know their mood, you will not know their reactions or how they will respond to certain situations. So you need to always ensure that regardless of what happens to you whilst you're using public transportation, regardless of who comes at you, for you to maintain your peace and your calm. If anyone is trying to get you to fight or engage you in an argument, just simply walk away or excuse yourself from the situation. And even when the argument or fight does not involve you directly, do not be found in the environment or in a scene where other people are arguing or fighting. Remove yourself far, far, far away from the situation until the fight and argument has been dissolved. So whether directly or indirectly, do not be caught arguing or fighting in public when you're using public transportation, okay? The next point on my list will be for you to be kind and gentle towards everyone. Everyone you meet, always wear a kind smile, regardless of the condition. And that's why I gave you the first tip of putting yourself in that calm state in your mind. When you are in a calm place and a peaceful place in your mind, regardless of the chaos happening around you, you can still have a smile on your face and you can still treat everyone with a lot of kindness and respect. So be kind, respectful, and gentle to everyone around you when you are using public transportation, okay? The next point on my list on how you can stay elegant even while commuting with public transportation would be for you to keep your hair properly packed at all times. Now, you do not want your hair getting in the way of your movement, because when you are trying to keep vigilant, when you are trying to keep your mind in a calm and in a peaceful state, you don't want your hair interrupting or being one thing that you need or have to worry about. So before you leave your house as an elegant person, just ensure that your hair is properly packed or it just gets out of your way so that you can stay focused on being vigilant and security conscious and stay focused on being in a place of peace and calm. And still under the hair part, you also want to be considerate of the people around you. Sometimes as ladies, when we have our hairs flying all over the place, it can get into other people's faces. Someone just told me how hair actually literally would get into his face whenever he's commuting with public transportation. So you want to also be considerate of others when you are in public transport so that your hair will not get into their face or interrupt their own peace and their sanity as well. So always ensure that your hair is properly packed and put together when you are about to use public transportation, okay? My next point would be, this one is for the ladies. Remember to wear minimal makeup or use makeup products that help put or keep your makeup in place regardless of the weather condition. You do not want your makeup melting, especially when you find yourself under the sun or in very hot temperature. You want to ensure that your makeup stays put regardless of how long you have to commute or the distance of your commute. So wear minimal makeup, or if possible, do not wear makeup at all. Just focus on skincare, focus on making sure that your skin looks really good, and do away with the makeup completely. But if you must wear makeup, wear minimal makeup and then use makeup products that actually help your makeup stay in place regardless of the weather condition. My next point for you would always be to carry pocket square tissues or handkerchiefs or wipes. It's very important that you always have this in your bag or in your pocket at all times, because you never can tell where you would have to clean something, especially because you are actually in public domain and public territory. Somewhere might be dusty, you need to wipe it clean. Somewhere just something might happen, or maybe you have a smudge on your face and you just quickly want to dab whatever smudge has happened. You always want to be ready and armed with all of these things at all times. So always have a pocket square tissue in your bag or a handkerchief or sanitary wipes, okay? The next point I've put down here on my list will be for you to be mindful of your clothing. Now, when you're using public transportation, you want to ensure that you have clothing that is very comfortable and convenient for you. So for example, if you're going to be entering a motorcycle, you don't want to be wearing tight fitted skirts. You want to ensure that even if you're wearing a skirt, it should be a flowy and a free skirt. So just think about the mode of transportation you'll be using and ensure that you are wearing clothes that actually fit the mode of transportation. Still under clothing, avoid wearing clothing that would make you sweat a lot. You want to avoid things like silk or chiffon materials, especially during very hot weather conditions. So be very mindful of the kind of clothing you are wearing so that you are not found with sweat all over your clothing, especially under your armpits or at your back or even in front of you. Be very, very mindful. Cotton would work very well for the hot weather conditions, because you guys know that in this part of the world, this is Nigeria, our weather condition is usually literally always almost hot at all times. So you want to use appropriate clothing that will not make you sweat a lot so that you can maintain your elegance, okay? The next point on my list will be for you to invest in a nice tote bag. As an elegant person, you do not want to be found carrying different kinds of bags, your handbag, one nylon bag, maybe your lunch bag, another bag, like no. If you're going to be using public transportation, it means that you may have to use your legs to get to the point where you need to take the public transport, right? Don't be caught with different types of bags, and it would even stress you out and it would not help you stay vigilant and security conscious. But when you have a large tote bag that can literally fit in every single thing that you need to carry to the place where you're commuting to, definitely I tell you that it makes all the difference, and it also helps you stay very elegant and classy. The next point on my list will be for you to invest in classy flat shoes. I think they call it ballerina shoes. Now you have to move a lot if you're using public transportation. So you definitely do not want to be found wearing scruffy looking sandals or scruffy looking slippers, and definitely not wearing bathroom slippers when you're trying to catch a bus. Don't do that. Do you get that? Don't do that. Invest in a nice pair of ballerina shoes, and also you can get them in different colors, like neutral colors like black. You can get them in brown. Brown is also a very sweet color. You can get them in gray. You can get them in blue, in your favorite color pretty much, and just have an array of them so that while you are commuting from one place to another, you have your comfortable shoes to move around with. And then of course, when you get to your destination, you can always change it up into your heels if you have to wear heels. So investing in a good ballerina shoe would definitely help you maintain your elegance and your class even whilst taking public transportation, okay? The next point on my list for how you can stay elegant even while using public transportation, and this one would be for the ladies, would be never ever put your heels or whatever shoes you'll be changing into in a nylon bag before you put it into your bag. So I have all the materials here for effect. You see this type of nylon bags. Don't put your shoes in there. I have my shoes here. Don't put your shoes in there first before you place it into your bag. Because when you get to your destination, and imagine your destination is full of high value people who are very classy, would you be bringing out your shoes from a nylon bag like this before you wear it? No. The best thing for you to do would be to invest in a nice dust bag for shoes like this one. This one actually came with a pair of shoes that I bought. Sometimes when you buy shoes, the dust bag would come with it, or you can actually purchase a dust bag for shoes just separately. This way, when you put your shoes in the bag, hold on, let me show you. Never use that, ever. This way, when you put your shoes in the bag, like so, you can easily just close it up, and this is what you'll be left with, and you just put it in your bag. And then when you get to your destination, you can easily just bring this out. This looks more polished, this looks more elegant, this looks more classy. And when you bring it out to wear your shoes, People will know that you have some form of class, especially when they see that you have taken the time to put your shoes in a nice dust bag for shoes. The next point on how you can stay elegant and classy whilst you're commuting with public transportation would be for you to invest in hand sanitizers. An elegant person actually always takes care of their health, and they're very mindful of their health conditions. And then because you're going to be moving around with people, or you're going to be moving around in circles where thousands and millions of people go through on a daily basis, you want to ensure that you're protecting yourself to the best of your ability. So investing in a good hand sanitizer and using it ever so often. You never can tell what germ or what nonsense it's lurking on the surface that your hands will touch. You don't even know where your hands will touch at different times, no matter how careful you are. So you always want to ensure that you stay properly sanitized with a hand sanitizer until maybe you're able to get to a place where you can actually really wash your hands. The next point on my list will be for you to have a nice grooming kit that contains things like your makeup, that contains things like a hand moisturizer, a small compact size mirror. Can contain things like your brush, things that you need to just touch up yourself all through the day. Because you are going to be in public, you don't know what would happen to you. There are different conditions that are outside your control. So you want to ensure that you have a small grooming kit that can help you just put yourself back quickly together, regardless of where you find yourself. If you want to be considered a truly elegant person, even when you are commuting with public transportation, it is important for you never to be caught buying food by the roadside or eating in the public transportation, regardless of what the public transport is. Don't be caught buying food by the roadside. You can plan your meals ahead of time. As elegant people, we need to be very mindful of what goes into our bodies, and that's why it's important that you can't just be found buying food just from any random place that you like. You have to be mindful of where you are buying the food for hygiene purposes, and of course, you need to maintain your class. So never be caught buying food by the roadside, and never be caught eating inside a public transportation. No matter what it is, whether it's a snack, whether it's a main meal, whatever it is, never be caught eating inside or public transportation. And the final point on my list for today would definitely be, don't play loud music. Invest in AirPods. Invest in good quality AirPods. Remember that regardless of the means of transportation you are using, as long as there are other people around you, you need to be considerate, respectful, and kind to them as well. So playing loud music would interrupt the flow of their own peace, especially if they're not interested in listening to what you have to listen to. So invest in an earpiece or AirPods so that you can keep whatever you're listening to yourself. And those are all the points that I have for you for today, for those who actually do take public transportation. If I missed out any points, please kindly leave a comment in the comment section down below so that we can continue the conversation from here. But hey, you can definitely still maintain your elegance regardless of the means of transportation that you use to commute on a daily basis. I'll see you next time with another episode. Until then, remember to stay very elegant. Take care, guys.